So we're gonna get him cleaned up. I'm gonna start with the engine. Hey, do you remember how long Brian said it had been? Look at how big that guy right there is. That's Rooster Cogburn. We just call him Cogburn. He's the leader of the pack. Anyway, they're going with us to our new property also. So that's pretty cool. Honey, do you remember how long Brian said it had been since this ran?
10 years.
10 years?
Well, it was registered in 03.
Oh, 3? Heck, that was only 12 years ago. Sometimes 10 years means 12 years. But Brian's a real straight shooter. Looks like Grizzly Adam. Lives out in the woods, right? He's off the grid. And everything that he's told me so far has been accurate and correct. And I'm gonna try to get this old boy running tonight. What do you think about that, Jamie?
I hope you do.
She hopes I do, because she wants me to go over here and get to work on that. I don't know why you want me to hurry up and get to work on it. The quicker I get it running, the quicker someone's going to want to buy it.
I'll put the starter in.
The quicker I get it running, the quicker someone's going to want to buy it.
Yeah, but the quicker you get it running, the quicker I get to drive it and get it out of my system.
Cool. All right. So, first thing I'm going to do on this old beast, thing we got to do is take an assessment of what we got under the hood. So we got critters. What do you think? Critters? Yes. Not too bad. I've seen worse.
Yeah, I need a home in the...
Yeah, on
like,
top of the manifold. I bet you the air cleaner's full of critter stuff too. But anyways, first thing you always do. What's what? That is radiator overflow bottle.
In a
homemade.
freaking
It's homemade.
pressure tank, like a butane tank looking thing.
Hey, guys did what they had to do back in the day to make their stuff do what it needed to do. As you can see, the firewall's pretty solid on this truck. I think the floors were pretty solid too. But it's got a newer small block Chevy in it with electronic ignition, which means I don't have to go in there and file the points. But I'll check all the fluids, do some cleaning under the hood, get my blower out, blow all this stuff off. First thing you always want to do is blow the engine and the under hood area off before you take the air cleaner off. Then you want to take the air cleaner off, see what was living in there. Let's just see what was living in there. Uh-oh, that's not very efficient. Oh, we're in luck. They only made it to the outer part of the breather, honey.
What?
They only made it to the outer part of the air cleaner. They didn't make it up inside where the goodies are. Cool. So we'll get her cleaned up with the breather on. Yeah. We're going to take a break while I do this cleanup work anyways. And we'll be back after I check all the fluids. Well, yeah, I'll check all the fluids. I'll get all that boring stuff done. Then I'll just tell you what I did. And we'll come back and I got a brand new battery for this puppy. And we'll see what it thinks of that. And some good gas. Because this truck was allegedly taken off the road because it got water in the fuel. I just love that bumper. And another cool thing I noticed is these guys were flapping out here. And I came and looked at them and I noticed they were just long enough to wrap around the edges. So I'm going to make that happen because that's kind of cool. Were you going to help or what?
It's getting dark.
Getting dark? Well, yeah. We got our chickens put away.
How many hours have I been vacuuming that?
You have been vacuuming a long time, and you know what? It looks a million times better.
That's hard work.
Jamie cleaned out Homer's whole compartment back here. We got some rotted wood we got to deal with, but I see some good possibilities here.
Yeah, that.
There's a lot of room here for toolboxes and just everything, an air compressor, generator, everything.
I just started vacuuming this.
She just started on the interior, but get a good shot.
And you came and gave me a light, so I know it's getting dark too late.
Yeah. Anyway,
I say Ford Mustang seats. Anybody else got any ideas?
I don't know.
Oh, you said
I got a
Cougar
friend named
maybe, huh?
Courtney Preston, you could probably make these Ford Mustang seats look like brand new.
You said maybe Cougar?
They're out of a Mustang or a Cougar, because I had a 70 Cougar that I wrapped around the old oak tree. A lot of my high school friends remember that. For about a week or 2 weeks, people were bringing me little pieces of my car, the grill emblem and stuff. I did wrap one around an oak tree.
I didn't know you then, but this is so funny because your mom, you totally couldn't get it over and she smacked you upside the head, huh?
Yeah, I told my mom my car just came up missing, and when we found it and pulled up to it, she was driving, I was in the passenger seat, and I looked at the car and looked at her, and she looked at me and reached over and just slapped me real hard. And I go, what was that for? And she goes, you knew that car was wrecked, because if you didn't, you'd be all upset right now. And I never could BS my mom.
Yep.
But anyway, so they're not all real easy. What I came across with Homer is he's got some electrical issues, and Brian told me that the only thing wrong with this truck was that it got some water in the fuel cell, which or the fuel tank, which could very well be. This truck sat for, he said he thought it was about 10 years. Well, according to the plates, it's 12 years. You know, a guy can be forgiven for getting it close. I think Brian's an honest guy. I think he gave me an accurate description. I think what happens is when a truck sits out in the bushes for 12 years and rodents get into it, and sometimes they gnaw on wires and stuff, so I have no power anywhere. Basically what I'm doing is starting at the beginning. Got a brand new battery in it. I just put one new battery cable in it. Also running a heavy cable from the battery up to the firewall, and I'm going to ground it there, because on these old trucks it's very important that you have a good ground, not only to the engine but also to the body. Yeah, they're mounted straight through the transmission mounts to the cross member, but it's the same thing as if you're running a 100-foot extension cord as opposed to running a 10-foot extension cord. The more metal that the electricity has to pass through, and I'm not an electrical genius, I just know the ABCs, but the more metal that the electricity has to pass through to get to where it's going, the less electricity that's going to wind up there. So basically what I'm doing is making sure it gets a good ground to the body, it's got plenty of voltage, and then I'll chase down each positive wire one at a time. And there's no point, there's certain things that you got to do on these things before there's any point in going any further, and one of them is it's got to spin over. I've done everything. Go ahead, honey.
I gotta pee.
She's going like this. She can go ahead.
I had to go for a while, okay.
All right, but I'm going to go ahead and do some more work on the electrical. I've already got 2 of the battery terminals changed, 1 cable changed. Installing a new ground, and first goal is to get this where the engine spins over by itself, and I've already spun it over by hand quite a bit, and checked all of my fluids. Need a little more water in the radiator. Jamie's got to go for a minute. Peace out.
What?
Honey, that was one thing I forgot to mention in the grandpa video.
What?
Is all the electrical problems we had. Remember that, where we had to find the fuse panel that flipped down from the firewall and everything?
And you had that massive battery?
Yeah, that cost me $200. But often in these old trucks, what you're going to wind up with is cobwebs, cut wires hanging everywhere, and there's tin foil on that fuse back there. That's awesome. You're going to wind up with this kind of stuff when you get these old trucks. So, I'm not the electrical genius, and I'm sure, you know, I get good, healthy tips from my viewers. And I used one of them tonight. Honey, I used one of my viewer tips tonight. My viewers, they give me tips on how to do stuff easier and stuff, and I'm sure the electricians are going to weigh in on this project, because homie ain't no electrical genius, but I will get it running, and there'll be a lot of people that'll tell me how I could have done things better, and I appreciate that. But one of my viewers, honey, never mind. Well, he told me, because he saw the banana rammer video, right? Where I was blowing the engine out. And he's like, Rick, you can buy a blower with an extension on it so you don't have to have your face up in there while you're blowing the engine out. But a lot of people don't realize we ain't getting rich doing this. So, but I did take your advice, and here's my blower with an extension. And I used it on this, and it works real good, and it cost me nothing.
That's awesome.
Little piece of copper tubing, little rubber hose stuffed onto one of my blowers.
I might
Blew the whole engine compartment out with it, and so I thank that viewer. And also I wanted to say I've been trying to slip this into one of my videos, but I answer all of my comments on my videos. So if you don't receive a response to your comment, it's because I can't. There's comments that pop up once in a while and the little reply box isn't there. So I can give you a like unless you tell me I suck, and then in which case I don't do anything except delete your comment. But anyway, the viewer that sent me this tip, yeah, I know they make longer ones, but that was a good idea. It helped me out tonight.
That could be bad in my hands. Because I could be going through the whole garage.
It has a life of its own. Thank you. Anyway, so what I was saying is they're not all as easy as they seem. Basically what you do is you just make sure you got a good battery. Make sure you got a really good ground, which I probably went overkill on that, but it's a good ground. And then you start providing power to places. So wish me luck, because like I said, no electrical genius here, but I do want to hear this one run, because it needs to move all my trucks real soon. So if you're working on your old truck and you see stuff like this, that's a positive battery terminal. This and the stuff on it. That's a good place to start for correcting your electrical issues. So we'll do that. I got negative all squared away over there in terminal. Extra heavy duty ground and new ground cable. But yeah, so if you see something like this where everything's all old and crowdy and got attachments, fix that first. Still making progress on the electrical system, and I'm sure I'm going to get some comments about on my electrical work, but well, you can't see it, but I've securely grounded the body to the battery. And then on the positive side, I had a bunch of hooky stuff going on here, and I know that looks hooky, but at least everything's clean and well connected. But then you just kind of branch out on these old trucks, and that looks hooky because those are my main power wires, and this one terminates at the alternator right here, which doesn't look good. So I'm gonna fix that and then reroute that wire while I'm at it, because that's not good. And like I said, if you got electrical problems, the best thing to do is start at the beginning, which is the battery. Make sure you got good terminals, good clean connections, good solid ground to the body and the engine, and work your way out. I think, like I said, no electrical expert, but I'm pretty sure that's not good. Pretty sure even my electrician brothers, I mean really, I have two brothers that are electricians, will agree this looks better than what was on there for my main feed going to my alternator. Donnie is my brother from my dad. We're brothers with the same dad. He's an electrician. And Robert's my brother from the same mother. And I love them both. They're awesome. So my two electrician brothers, we'll probably even agree that it's better wiring. Now let's go find out why nothing works. Most of my old trucks have one of these on them. And it's usually mounted to the firewall. It's a resistor block. Some guys are going like, duh, no kidding. But anyway, I did notice something. I have 12 volts really hot going into that. And then this is the wire that comes out the bottom of it. Here's the other end. And this is a direct ground to the body. Right here. So there's the hot wire. And I'm getting very little sparkage there. Seems like I should have a lot more sparkage going on. So I think that resistor's bad. There. I think it's putting up too much resistance. Because this wire going into it, right here, comes straight off the battery terminal. And there's the negative battery terminal to the battery. And I'm getting very little sparkage going on there. So I think we found the culprit. I don't know, but you gotta deal with it one piece at a time, right? So let's put a new one of those in there. Finally got rewarded for a little of my electrical work. I have one light. It's a beautiful light though. It is. I had a light come on. Like I said, I'm not an electrical genius, but oh, also I have another positive sign, which this is the way it goes sometimes. A lot of guys tell me, oh, that was easy getting that one running. It's never easy, trust me. Sometimes it looks easy on the videos, but I have another positive sign. It's pretty cool. I've got one of these going on. I've got the ignition switch yanked out and kind of halfway put together. Keep it family friendly, but that's a good sign. I like that. I don't like the one light thing though. And it is my turn signal. See? It's cool though. Oh my goodness. Look at that, the right one's blinking. Oh, I have 3 signs of life. Homer! Sometimes it goes like this. Are you kidding me? Yeah. He's got a rear turn signal too. Okay, well, you know, sometimes that's how it goes. You just hit one thing at a time, and or 3 things, and the back one's blinking too. Oh me. I really like this tow truck. Before I just had a left front that stayed on and a right that worked front and back. Now I have a left that blinks and a back on the same side that blinks. Look.
And it blinks to what? Music, right?
Yeah, it does. It makes music.
Dee-dee.
And he talks to you while he's blinking. Bonus.
The one on the right is like my heart beating.
Yeah, that's okay.
Oh yeah. Okay, switching.
Kind of cool. He's coming
Totally.
alive. We've named him Homer. Sometimes I call him Homie.
Homie, homie, can you come and tow me?
So,
Broke down and
I've got the engine turning over. I've got both blinkers working on both sides. Now I'm going for headlights.
Ooh. And I think I'll sit and watch you from over there.
From the hot tub, Jamie's gonna go get
that's
the
too hot
hot
it
tub.
hot tub.
One thing you will always have to do with one of these old 55 to 59 Chevy and GMC trucks, if it's been sitting for a while, is this. Put brake fluid in it, because it always leaks out when they're sitting. And I covered this whole procedure in Old Yeller video. So I'm going to do the same thing I did in the Old Yeller video on this, since I'm here. Sometimes I get trucks in that are just rusted to the ground, but they have the correct original wiring harness in them, and that's what this is right here. A whole correct original wiring harness, because I needed a little guidance when I got to the headlight switch in my new tow truck, Homie. And I know that is not a 59 Chevy headlight switch. And then there's this. But what helps me muddle through is having these correct original, and I understand that's not an original headlight switch, but it does have all the correct original wiring harness attachments. So yeah, and don't be afraid to unwrap creative wiring, previous wiring projects. Sometimes it can be enlightening. I don't even know where they got this green duct tape. Home Depot, era 1960. I don't think so. Okay. Yeah. Oh, those are welded together. Okay, so I'm gonna take my correct original wiring harness and this mess and try to make chicken salad out of it. Named my tow truck because I've had time to spend quality time with him, but I named him Homer. And I don't want to hear about Mater or Tow Mater or anything like that. This is a real tow truck. This will be doing real work. But I'm kind of at a crunch point right now. I got, what, 52 days? 54 days?
54 days and counting.
54 days to have all my trucks off this property and hopefully on our new property. And even if that's sitting on some gravel out in the middle of nowhere, that's better than here. But I need this. So I've been rewiring the whole thing, but I thought before I invest too much time into that, I should probably make sure it runs. So I've modified my rewiring schedule, and now I'm gonna just focus on rewiring what I need to rewire to get it running. And if it runs, then I've already installed most of the headlight wiring harness and some of the interior stuff, but I'm just going to take a shortcut, wire the ignition switch to the engine and the starter and everything, and see if the engine runs before I invest too much time into this, because every day counts now, right?
Yep. No, because there's one thing you got working. I want you to turn it on right now. His beacon thing.
Oh, yeah, I did. I cleaned up his light and
Viking beacon. That's awesome. And when that doesn't work and people don't scoot over, then you need to bust out the big horn. The bully horn. Oh, that's cool. That's awesome. Totally.
Polish him up a little bit.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Oh, he's so cool.
He is cool.
He looks just as cute. Like his picture was just right on your desktop.
And he was in the bushes.
He was.
He was rotting away in the bushes.
But he was like.
Nobody wanted him.
He was hiding in the bushes. He was like not raw.
Nobody wanted. Brian tried to sell his truck for a long time. I was the only one stupid enough to bite, but.
Stupid enough.
I'm making a joke. I'm making a joke. But, you know, a lot of people pass up the ones that are in the bushes, and he's got some rust spots on him and everything. But I don't need him to be pretty. I just need him to work, you know. This is about my third day of working on Homer. Jamie's been scrubbing her butt off on him. And like I said, he's never going to be a beautiful show truck or anything. But I bought this for the work that it can do, so it's all about the mechanical on this. I got into it a little bit and found out that the wiring was old and crusty and not good, and so I decided to just work on the engine electrics, get it running. Still got a lot of work to do on it.
Maybe that's what you get for not running for 12 years, right? Sitting in the bushes. Put a key in it and turn it on.
It's alive. So, got another one running. Gotta get to work on the brakes, finish up the wiring, and sort out all the controls for the winch and stuff like that. But I think this guy's ready to go to work for us. This is Homer, my tow truck. And he's about 3/4 of the way ready to do what he's got to do. The reason I got this tow truck, first tow truck I got was too small. Some of the trucks I get are bigger and heavier, so I needed a bigger tow truck. So I sold my first tow truck and bought a bigger tow truck, a 1950 GMC, which I'll put a video up of. But that one was too old to be reliable going down the road, so I sold it and I bought this one, and I called this one Homer, and I got him running real good and stopping real good. And the guy that I bought it from, Brian, gave me a real accurate description of this truck. It did have some problems from sitting in the bushes for 12 years, which he couldn't have known about, but I've addressed most of those. I rewired all the engine stuff and the stuff that I need just to make it go. I'll continue to do a little more work and get the lights and everything working. But anyway, he's running pretty good. And since he has a good running V8 in him, I went ahead and gave him a present that actually I gave him a few presents, but one of them is a V8, correct 59 Chevy V8 hood emblem that I've had sitting on my shelf for a while.
And look at his face, he's so cute.
Yeah, he's a lot happier. And then another piece of mandatory equipment for a tow truck, especially an old tow truck, is something chrome bolted around the cowl that looks like a siren, but is actually a horn. And he's got his flashing light working. You want to go for a ride?
Yeah.
rust issues, but like I said, I bought this thing for work.
I like
He's got a job to do.
it. Smells like gasoline.
This tow truck's got about 40 trucks to move in about 54 days. It's just a relief to see him running and have some things working. Air brakes.
Air brakes. Hey, you didn't have to pillage off Woody.
No, I didn't. Yeah, I think it'll work just fine for getting the trucks moved over there. It's already got the fifth wheel hitch on the back, so I can use it. These air brakes. It sounds like there might be a vacuum leak somewhere. I think it's trying to kill the engine when I hit the brakes. But they work good. We'll get that ironed out. I just got the brakes working. I love those horns.
Yeah, you just want to stir trouble. There's a nice farm home in there. Yeah, they're adding to his pile. Oh, there's.
It runs pretty good.
He did.
I'm hugely relieved to know that I'm going to be able to move all my trucks. Runs and drives real good, stops real good, hookah horn works, siren works, or flashing light works. Well, you won't forget you have that one on when you're driving down the road, will you? You see these guys all the time in construction trucks driving down the highway with their light on. You know they forgot to turn it off. You will not forget about this one. Trust me on that. Classic Truck Rescue got Homer in the final stages of being ready to move all these trucks. All these trucks. All these trucks. Peace out.
Good job. Oh, look at the sun. Firecracker, shish boom ba. Classic Truck Rescue, rah rah rah. I love my guy. He's so awesome. I love my life too. It's amazing. It's Homer. Here comes Homer to the rescue. Classic Truck Rescue. Oh my gosh, this is just everyday life around here. This is what we do.
Pretty cool old truck.
Yeah, it is.